Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day to Dr. Mohammed Nur HISHAM. Today we are from Group 1. We will be presenting on our group assignment for our course ACN3101 Accounting and Financial Information under Group 2 that are lectured by Dr. Mohammed Nur HISHAM bin Osman. Our presentation are divided into two sections, which are Section A, where we'll be presenting on the background and financial statement analysis of two publicly listed companies that we have chosen, which are Fraser and Neff Holdings Berhad, or known as FRN, and Nestle Malaysia Berhad, or known as NESTLE. While Section B, where we'll be presenting on the effects of budgets on business and individuals. My name is SHAFIQAH BINTI SHAHRI, matrix number 216724, and I am the head of the Group 1.
My name is SITI NURNATASYA binti AYOB and my matrix number is 216983.
Hello, my name is SALMI IZZATI binti HANIZAM. My matrix number is 216854.
Hello everyone, my name is TIANYU and my matrix number is 213834.
I am going to start with the history of Fraser and Neff Company for Section A. It started in 1883, where two visionaries, John Fraser and David Chalmers Neff, formed the Singapore and Strait Aerated Water Company to produce carbonated soft drinks. Next, in 1898, FNN was sold to a new company which leads to the making of Fraser and Neff, or widely known as FNN. And then in 1931, Fraser and Neff collaborated with Dutch Heineken to venture into the business of brewing beer or alcohol and establish a brewery named Malayan Breweries Limited and Archipelago Brewery. FNN continued to grow through events in 1936, where FNN took over producing various types of drinks including 7-Up, Fanta, and Sunkist. FNN Beverage is the first company to introduce sweetened condensed milk in 1974 and at the same time introduced a variety of ice cream products. In February 2007, an entrepreneur from Thailand bought and owns the controlling rights of FNN Holdings Berhad Singapore, which is the parent company of Fraser and Neff. Next, I will continue with the main business activity of Fraser and Neff. FNN produces a variety of goods and some of them are beverage, dairy product, and foods. FNN is also involved in publishing and printing business. For beverage category, FNN produces flavored carbonated water, FNN Nutrisoy and Seasons, 100 Plus, and natural mineral water, namely Ice Mountain, Fresh Tree, as well as Sunkist, which is a cordial. For dairy products, FNN produces evaporated milk, namely Goldcorn, Teapot, Carnation, Bear Brand, Ideal, and also Milkmaid. Not to forget its famous milk products, namely Magnolia and Farmhouse. For foods, FNN produces ketupat, seasoning paste, oyster sauce, and desserts such as pudding and agar powder. Lastly is jam and spreads. Apart from that, FNN is also involved in printing, publishing, and distributing business. FNN is the patron of various companies under the mentioned sectors such as Time Publishing Group, Marshall Cavendish, Times Printers, PrintLab, and Times Distribution.
Okay, look at the picture. The right side is the current board members. Then there's FN success, and the left side is some achievements of FN. In 2018, they won the Best Dairy Award as is a symbol of FN. In 2022, they won the prestigious Health, Food and Beverage Excellence Award. And the next one is Prime Minister Heavy Sex Award, recognized FN holding the Berhad for environment stewardship.
Next is the history timeline of Nestle. It started on 1866 until 1867, where Henry Nestle developed milk-based baby food and Anglo-Swiss Condensed Milk Company was established. And then on 1875, Henry Nestle retired, but the company is under ownership of Daniel Peter, so he retained his name as Society Ferry Letty Henry Nestle. On 1877, Anglo-Swiss added milk-based baby food to their products and added condensed milk into their portfolio. On 1904 until 1905, both companies participate in the creation of Swiss Chocolate and Nestle marketing their first chocolate, which is Milk Nestle. Then, both of them merged to become the Nestle and Anglo-Swiss Condensed Milk Company and retained the name until 1947. On 1912, Nestle then started in Malaysia as the Anglo-Swiss Condensed Milk Company in Penang. Due to the expansion of the company, they made a move to Kuala Lumpur on 1939. Next is the main business activities of Nestle. Nestle produces several products and some of them are dairy, beverages, foods and also junior food. For dairy, Nestle produces Nestum, Nestle Just Milk, Omega Plus, condensed milk and evaporated milk. For beverages, Nestle produces Milo, Nescafe, Coffee Mate and Bliss. For foods, Nestle produces Kit Kat, Cocoa Crunch, ice cream and Maggi. Nestle even produces junior food which are Cerelac, Lactogro, Nankit, and also Nestle for Mum. Next is the achievements of Nestle. Nestle won several awards and some of them are Halal Industry Development Corporation Awards in 2018 as they produce halal products in 43 countries and they are one of the first company to receive halal certification from JAKIM. Next, they won HR Asia Best Company to Work For in Asia 2020 Award as they got Best in Human Resources Management. Next, they won Putra Brand Award in 2021. They got Platinum, Silver and Gold. And last but not least, they won National Annual Corporate Report Awards, which is NACRA, on 2013, and they won 2 awards, which is Industry Excellence Award for Consumer Products and Silver Award for Best Design Annual Report.
The current board members of Nestle Malaysia Berhad consist of 8 individuals that are responsible in maintaining Nestle performance and financial condition. Starting from the left of the first row, which is Yang Amat Mulia Tan Sri Datuk Sri Said Anwar Jamalullah as Chairman and Non-Independent Non-Executive Director of Nestle Malaysia Berhad. Following, Mr. Ching Kwai Fat, Datuk Hamidah Naziadin, Datin Sri Azlin Arshad, and Yang Mulia Dr. Tunku Alina Raja Muhammad alias as Independent Non-Executive Director. In addition, Mr. John Arnold as Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer, following Mr. Syed Saiful Islam as Executive Director and Chief Financial Officer. Last but not least, Tengku Ida Adura Tengku Ismail as Company Secretary of Nestle Malaysia Berhad. The annual sales turnover for Fraser and Neff Holdings Berhad and Nestle Malaysia Berhad for 4 years, starting from the year of 2018 until 2021, can be seen from the graph bar that has been prepared from the annual report. From the graph bar, we can see that both companies has made the highest annual sales turnover in the year of 2021 with 4.13 billion Malaysian ringgit for Fraser and Neff Holdings Berhad and 5.73 billion Malaysian ringgit for Nestle Malaysia Berhad. Next, we will continue with the ratio analysis comparison between FNN and Nestle for the year of 2020. We have applied ratio analysis as our tools of analysis and competitor as our benchmark in analyzing financial statements to evaluate both companies' performance and financial condition. The first ratio that have been analyzed by us is liquidity and efficiency ratios, which shows the company resources ability on paying its short-term cash requirement and liabilities, plus the company's efficiency on managing its asset productively.
First one, current ratio, FN is 2.42 times and higher than NESTLE. So this shows FN has strong ability to meet the current obligation than NESTLE. Next, A stats the ratio show on the ability of the company to pay their shorter debt immediately, like the current ratio. FN is higher than NESTLE, so FN could pay its short-term obligations immediately than NESTLE. Account receivable turnover means how often a company converts account receivable into cash. NESTLE is 11.04, which is obviously greater than FN. When the recovery of accounts receivable is fast, the turnover rate of accounts receivable is high, and a high turnover rate is an advantage, which means that the company won't occupy assets in accounts receivable. However, accounts receivable turnover can be too much high, which occur when credit terms are so tight that sales volume drops. Okay, let's talk about inventory turnover. Inventory turnover ensures how long a company holds inventory before selling it. We can say NESTLE's inventory turnover rate calculated by us is 5.99, which is slightly higher than FN. Firms with no turnover but the same amount sales. However, if inventory is not enough to be out of stock, then high inventory turnover can be bad.
From our calculation, we have found that Nestle collects its account receivable more frequently than FNN, as Nestle day sales uncollected is 32 days, which is more favorable than FNN with 54 days. This shows that Nestle receivables are more liquid than FNN. Nestle also have higher liquidity in its inventory than FNN, which shows through its day sales in inventory with 63 days than FNN with 87 days. Last but not least, the result upon our analysis have shown that Nestle have the higher ability in using its asset to generate sales with Nestle turnover of 1.94 times than FNN for 1.14 times.
Next is the comparison between FNN Holdings Berhad and Nestle Holdings Berhad on its solvency ratio for the year 2020. For that ratio, we found that FNN has favorable ratio than Nestle with 23.5% from total assets over 18.5% of Nestle. This is because company with a higher debt has more interest on their liability, which is not good for company. Next, for equity ratio, shows that 76.4% from Fraser and Neff total asset is funded by equity. Meanwhile, for Nestle, 90.5% of asset is funded by equity. For this, FNN ratio is favorable because the higher the equity, the less riskier the company is financially. Lastly is debt to equity ratio. For FNN company, the debt to equity ratio is 31%, meanwhile Nestle is 440%. FNN is favorable compared to Nestle because it implies that FNN is a low-risk company and has better investment compared to Nestle, which is a more risky company.
Next is the comparison on profitability ratios between Fraser and Neff Holding Berhad and Nestle Malaysia Berhad for the year of 2020. For profit margin ratio, based on our observation on both companies, we found that FNN has favorable ratios than Nestle with 5.27% over 0.59%. This shows that FNN has higher net income in each of their sales. Next, for margin ratio, shows that Nestle has higher net sales than FNN with 36.32% over 30.85%. For return on total assets, FNN has favorable ratios as it has higher percent of ratio, which is 5.89%, better than Nestle Malaysia with only 1.14%. This shows that FNN utilized their assets well. Last but not least, FNN has higher ratio on return on equity with 8.05% over 5.23% for Nestle. This shows that Nestle has weak ability to earn income for investors.
Last but not least, we have analyzed market prospect ratio for both companies. Upon our analysis, we have found out that Nestle Malaysia Berhad have higher market expectation for their future growth than Fraser and Neff Holding Berhad with price earning ratio of 58.93 over 30. On the other hand, we also found out that Fraser and Neff Holdings Berhad are paying more dividend to their shareholders than Nestle Malaysia Berhad with the dividend yield of 2.3% over 1.7%. In conclusion, we have concluded that Fraser and Neff Holdings Berhad, or known as FNN, have a good liquidity ratios and a bad efficiency ratios. Therefore, we recommend them to do an aggressive sales promotion and giving trade discount for bulk purchases in order to improve their efficiency ratios. On the other hand, we have concluded that Nestle Malaysia Berhad have a bad liquidity ratios and a good efficiency ratios. In order to improve their liquidity ratios, we recommend them to give discount and promote cash sale, thus reduce their current liabilities.
In conclusion, F&N has a good solvency ratio while Nestle has a bad solvency ratio. My recommendation is Nestle should mix their source of financing by using both equity and borrowing or issuing any shares or retained profits to improve their solvency ratio.
So as conclusion, we found that F&N is good on profitability ratios while Nestle is bad on profitability ratios. Our recommendation is Nestle should review its pricing policy, change the supplier, reduce labor costs and cost of sales or operating expenses, and production of wastage. Next is the effects of budgets on business and individuals. For business, the first one is plan for the future. Planning on budget, like listing all the income and expenses to keep the business budget on track. This is because life is filled with unexpected surprises that can lead to serious financial problems. In other hand, the savings can be used for expanding the company for the better in the future.
Next, budget can help to control business performance. Budget helps manager to ensure the actual performance matches up to the original plan. Strong budgetary control helps to track and measure expenses against the initial forecast. This system also encourages taking action against any variance to keep company to utilize cost efficiently. This comparison helps management to identify problems and take corrective actions if necessary, therefore help business to maintain its performance. Next, budget can help to coordinate business activity. The use of budget is to communicate objectives to all the departments and presents upper management with summarized data and discloses weaknesses in the organizational structure. The budget communicates to staff what is expected of them and allows for a consensus of ideas, strategies, and direction so that all employees and departments understand and work towards company's overall goals.
In this picture, I'm responsible for explaining the spend within their means and analyze their spending habits. First, I think a budget is a tool for the future and it's a kind of a long-term planning for individual that allow us to use our estimate resource within our ability to sort out the useless stuff and then integrate it. It's a great thing for individuals to have estimate spending habits and it allows us to manage our money better, know what we want, what we need, right to achieve the goal in mind.
The first effect of budget on individuals is budget can help individuals to achieve their financial goals. This can be seen through when an individual plan their budget on their financial goals by saving certain part of money from their salary to their financial goals. This will lead to individual manage to achieve their financial goals. Here's the list of references that we have been used in our group assignment. That's all from us. Thank you.